It's a quick tech demo of voice-based navigation and commands in ELMS Learning Network. This is running without a certificate, so it will ask this every time. So just be aware that normally this would not happen if you have a cert. Leafy, scroll down. Leafy, back to top. Leafy, back to top. Leafy, scroll top. Leafy, scroll down. Leafy, scroll back to top. Notice the difference in conversational speak there. Annyang allows you to have optional trigger phrases. Leafy, go back. So that went back in history. Leafy, forward. So again, the conversational speak, I didn't use the word go. Leafy, edit. So we jump into node operations. Leafy, devil. I don't know if you can get that word, given my pronunciation. Leafy, devel. Leafy, outline. Yeah, those might be a little more difficult. Leafy, outline. Let's try an easier one. Refresh the page here. It's difficult with a cert and me recording the screen. It starts to slog here a bit. Leafy, outline designer. Leafy, go home. I don't know if I actually have that one in there. Leafy, home page. Leafy, home. Leafy, book import content outline. It's a ridiculous name like that or something. So we can go over here and do, so basically any of these work right now. Leafy, sections list. There we go. There's the word. Leafy, content outline. Leafy, import content outline. There we go. So it jumps over there. Pretty cool. We've also got some primitive book navigation in here. Leafy, next page. There we go. Jump to page 11. Leafy, previous. Again, you can see the usage of the tokenized phrase for more conversational speak. Leafy, previous. I hit block on that. Probably not a good idea to hit block when you're trying to do a demo or something. also trying to work on the form input. It's really difficult, but annyang has support for, of course, not blocked. I'll have to change that. I wish it would just accept it all the time. Trying to, I don't have this working yet, do some dictation with it so that you could do this. Leafy, insert cool stuff. It says it's incorrect. The weird thing is, I don't think I have the logging on anymore. It's actually accepting the command appropriately and noticing that I say it with the wildcard of insert, which allows it to insert whatever the next tag is. And then I'm trying to hit focus and throw it in as HTML, but it doesn't seem to be working. It might have to do with input value, which dig through here is the dictate command. See, I just have to try to print out the fact that it called it in the first place. It's a little weird. Now the callback for result matching works. I want to say it's actually this that's the issue. I shouldn't be hitting HTML. Now my guess is if I put this in, let's take that out. It's a placeholder anyway. For dictation, that I'm going to match basically anything, and so this isn't a really good prototype to begin with. But let's see here. Leafy, insert everything I'm about to say and more. So we got a uncaught exception value there. Again on this focused item dot value. Probably this, quite frankly, because the object is already in scope. User said does come up with things. I should probably remove this to the end here. I don't normally record videos like this, but I'm trying to build a conversational interface. It's kind of neat to see that annyang is powerful enough that you can sort of do this in real time once you get the pattern down. The patches I'm adding to voicecommander are going to make this super easy for any Drupal site. Leafy, insert everything I'm about to say and more. Didn't trigger at all. Leafy, insert everything I'm about to say. And you can see there in the debug log, it captured Leafy, insert everything I'm about to say, and then it has the transactions as to how sure it is, which is kind of cool. So you can see it start with he answered everything I'm about to say, and then it processed it further for Leafy, answer everything I'm about to say, so we got the word Leafy. Leafy's my trigger word, you can use other words. This Leafy answered everything I'm about to say, Leafy, and then eventually Leafy, insert everything I'm about to say. So it did get it right. It took about 5 iterations. This is, again, I mentioned it's on HTTP. When you're on HTTPS, for whatever reason, voice processing is a lot more accurate and faster. Probably a security thing. Dot value is not a function. Focus should be a selector for this. So probably cheat on this, just for the purposes of this demonstration. Really, what I'm hoping we could get to, if you do this with form input, that you could use commands like leafy next, and it would highlight the next item, and then you would just speak and fill it in. We've got some additional modes to add to this. So let's see, let's edit title. Sure, let's just do probably could edit title for the purposes of this demo, because I honestly don't know what it will do. And we're just trying to make it populated. So we're going to focus it. The idea would be that I clicked summary, or that the browser clicked summary. Let's put it that way. Let's see, all these Chrome versions. not super happy with me constantly authorizing from what I've noticed. Let's open up Chrome again, and we'll go back to our courses site here. The content page. Let's try the workflow. Leafy edit. All right, so hypothetically, I'd be on this page, and then I'd say something like, Leafy insert Dunkin' Donuts. No, again, with this item.value is not valid. It's is not a valid function. It's really strange. Maybe it's just this. Or let's just do user set for that matter. We're doing the code debugging in this video. You can see the other, it's kind of, you can see the iterations upon what it thought it was. You can see the text that matched for it, leafy insert and then asterisk input. I still haven't been able to get this to pass back as the word insert. That would be more ideal, obviously. I could work with it and manipulate it a lot better. But it's, I'm just trying to do the user set part. So let's pop that in there. Leafy, insert everything I'm about to say about Dunkin' Donuts. Still claims that's not a function. It might be just val. It's been a while since I wrote that. It's a little weird. It is capturing my voice and getting it correctly. Just this part. Leafy, insert everything I love about food. There we go. Now we got it. Leafy, insert everything I love development. So I had the wrong item here. So we should be able to do this, and then it would be for appending. Now again, this isn't where the caret position is in the browser. It's not the iterative phrases building up to. It's it's certainly not as powerful as a voiceover agent like the screen reader. Leafy, insert a whole bunch of text about how much I love Drupal. Didn't actually process that one after. Leafy, insert I love Drupal. And of course, now maybe Leafy doesn't, maybe that doesn't love Drupal is the major difference here. Or I'm encapsulating the object twice or something silly like that. Obviously printed it a second ago. Leafy, insert I love you. No, we're not getting it doing that aspect of the insert. Now, because that was the issue with him before, I should be able to do this now. Now, the advantage of what I just changed is hopefully it would work for something like this field. I have no idea. Leafy, write I love you. There we go. Put it in that field. That's pretty cool. I have no idea how this would interact with CK Editor. It's actually capturing my input for the Control and Alt keys. It's apparently being hijacked by CK Editor. That's interesting. This is interesting functionality. Obviously, I just said these things. These are not phrases in annyang that I've defined, and so it won't do anything. Leafy, insert how much I stinking love voice input. So it was apparently listening through that whole phrase in question. There are no JavaScript errors, so it should write what I want. Leafy, insert I love JavaScript. Nothing. So refresh again. There are a lot of interesting issues that seem to pop up surrounding certain aspects of what you're highlighting, or number of times on the page, because again, I'm on HTTP. I'm going to self-sign some certs just so this goes away. It's a lot smoother experience when you do that. Leafy, insert how much I love JavaScript. Again, no match on that. That's interesting. Leafy, write how much I love JavaScript. There we go. I mean, I have both phrases defined, which is interesting. If you look in the voice commander module, and this is kind of the neat aspect of this in the rewrite I'm doing. This is all you really need to get new phrases into Drupal. So it's going to be pretty stinking powerful. You can see the conversational speech here. Phrase being the fact that my trigger word is leafy. You could just write anything or nothing. If I set this to just go home, the interesting thing whenever you have the brackets is that's conversational. So if I just said home, which we can test that, but if we throw that up now, and then refresh the page. Now I won't have to use the trigger word leafy to get this to work anymore. Home. Or at least I shouldn't have to. Go home. Interesting. I can actually hook that one up to test it. But you can see we've got the scroll back, scroll up, some cache clearing ones which were originally in the project, and then the dictation one that I'm messing with right now. You can see I was trying the phrase write and insert. Write it detected correctly. Insert it wasn't for whatever reason. They're calling the same function. And then in the API bridge that I've gotten that I wrote up here, you can see I split out the module. So here's some some node-based operation. So when I yelled edit before, this is calling goto. It's looking at the current page and then slapping edit on the address. There's probably a more elegant way of doing this, but revisions is in there as well. I haven't tried revisions. Leafy revisions. It's kind of a hard word to say, but I was able to hit it. Now, again, back to there isn't node access checking or any user access checks being done, so you could probably shout whatever phrase. I did add a permission for access checks. We could just yell out delete, and you'll see it won't work. Other than the fact I'm user 1 and I can do it. Leafy delete. Didn't actually do it. It'd be nice if we did. I haven't tested that one. Leafy delete. There we go. So now it goes to the delete page. It hasn't confirmed it. That's where I think perhaps I split out. I was working preliminarily on a forms command, and I just copy and paste another one. So I have to gut it a bit. But the idea would be that you can navigate forms. I could effectively trigger this delete key if we enable that module. And these aren't really that hard to do. You just ratchet it on the speech-based recognition onto a JavaScript function of fire. Well, if your JavaScript function of fire performs edit actions, clicks the delete button, or clicks, does a jQuery event to click edit-submit. Well, now you just click the delete button. I'm hoping to do it for basically just any a tag. Skim the entire page. It might be a little bloated to do it that way, though. I want to look at performance. This is basically a prototype. I really haven't done a lot of modifications to it at this time. But what I'm hoping is that you could then start to use this to just do navigation, and in general. This technology is going to get better. It's core in about 60% of U.S.-based, world-based browsers, and I believe about close to 70% of U.S.-based browsers. So the voice command support is pretty pervasive, especially when you look at the fact that most of that browser support is really in Chrome, Firefox, with an optional flag right now. If you go to Can I Use, you can see the voice API or speech. Sorry, it's called speech. Speech recognition API, and we see it's in Opera. It's in Chrome for Android. Oh, sorry, speech synthesis. Web API for controlling a speech or text-to-speech output. So this is for speaking to you as a browser. Sorry, what I was hinting at before. When we go to usage relative, we can see there's a lot of the world uses Chrome. This is Chrome for Android. Safari also promotes that standard as well, and Safari Opera too. It's coming into IE soon as well. You can see in Edge 14. Start getting that. Now that's the page speaking to you. The reverse is what I'm messing with right now, and you see that's 48%, which is actually pretty high considering you don't see this technology used anywhere at the moment, really. So as you would expect, Chrome is the thing way out in front. Opera also has some support for this. As we dip down from there, though, you see, Firefox does support this, but the user has to manually change a console value. That ain't gonna happen for most people. And so, 48% usage isn't super high yet, unfortunately. Once Firefox comes into play, that will be a little better. Hopefully, IE is being phased out. And Edge is the thing that's going to be phased in. So hopefully Edge 14 will have some support for it. Safari still doesn't have support for it in their technical preview or anything, which is unfortunate. But again, 48% of browsers, if we import US data, see actually a little more favorable to the globe audience than the US audience. So we're looking at 48% global audience with this, 45% US based. That's not a reason to not include it. It is kind of a progressive enhancement type of a setup because, I guess it's more so it's like an accessibility type of, concern, right? So don't build interfaces that only work via, touch or voice or click, right? I mean, as many options as possible. So, for example, as we go through our content, I can hit the right and left arrow keys, and I can go through this. But now, through progressive enhancement, if we're viewing it that way, I can also hold this down. Wow. Leafy next page. And now, it's the equivalent of the button click. Also, I want to add in an option, I haven't done it yet, under voicecommander, which is the module I've extended here. And so right now you can have it map out any menus. Right now I have it just mapping out some of the core Elms menus, and Leafy it responds to because I said Leafy. If I say Elms, that might make more sense in some way. You can also do commands on mobile devices. iOS doesn't support this from what I said. I guess it's just Chrome at the moment, but you can have specialized support for mobile devices. What I'm hoping to expand this into, though, is more node-based operations, more of an additional way you can navigate through things, and looking at voicecommander and annyang, which it's built on, this could be extremely powerful for, at minimum, building some ways of getting through your site that'll certainly wow the hell out of people, which is worth something for sure. So I wouldn't recommend building an entire system on this. I have played with it quite extensively and played with it on HTTPS because it does run a lot better than what I'm showing at the moment. But very promising indeed. Excited to see where it goes. Leafy edit. leafy, edit. See, I changed the trigger word, so now that trigger word doesn't work anymore. It's kind of neat that they have this built in. So I changed it to elms, right? So one would hope I can now say elms next page. There we go. That makes a little more sense. The default word is Drupal. I don't want people yelling Drupal at my sites. I'm also hoping to put in a mode or maybe even a profile configuration where it's just listening all the time, kind of Xbox One style, so that, if you imagine, I'm not confirming, I'm not hitting the keys and this prompt isn't coming up, and I'm just saying elms next page. Elms next page. There we go. So again, accuracy and clarity is much higher on HTTPS versus HTTP, but I mean, it's pretty awesome to even think of an interface where you're just talking to it. Again, it's a really low barrier to entry to hit some keys, but it's still a barrier, quite frankly. If we had a little microphone icon on screen, which is what we might move to when we actually implement this, and you imagine this is gone, there's another microphone input over there in the corner, and so I click on the microphone instead of hitting allow, and I say something like elms scroll down, elms scroll. There we go. So again, not 100% accurate, but certainly getting there. We can start to get to interfaces in the future that, maybe it's my TV. Maybe I'm not sitting here clicking things. Maybe I don't have controllers. Maybe I don't have my fingers dragging across a touchpad or hitting the next arrow on a keyboard. These are not, tomorrow types of enhancements, but they are coming and not too far out. Particularly if you were to have a kiosk or an interface that's, set up at a museum or, an information center, maybe a hub or something like that. Something that you could just talk to and get additional information about. Extending this module is bigger than just Elms for sure. It's much more repurposable to Drupal in general. So if you had an interface that people, they had a list of, hey, ask me some questions, and it was listening for key phrases, you could start to, Google stuff with that. Obviously, Googling with your voice is not super impressive, but you can, figure out what the campus map is, or show me where the Hammond building is, or something like that. More conversational way of loading up interfaces and things. So pretty cool system. Very excited to explore it further. I just kind of modified the module this weekend, so we'll see where it goes.